Hey everyone, and welcome back to Brains Are Beautiful. In today's video, we're just going to be solving for the variable. So a variable can really be anything you want it to be. It can be any of the letters, it can be symbols, it could be a star, it could be a smiley face, as we'll see later. It can really be whatever you want it to be, but usually your teacher or your book will assign it. So I have 4 different problems ranging in difficulties, and hopefully they will be able to help you on homework assignments as well as potentially on tests. So let's get started. For the first equation, I have 9 plus v, v is our variable, it's just a regular letter, equals 51. Okay, so the whole idea is we want to solve for v. So that means we have to get v by itself on one side of the equation. So we get v equals some number. So how are we going to do that? Well, right now we have the 9 being added to v. So let's get rid of the 9. The opposite of addition is subtraction. They kind of have one of these relationships. Okay, so they kind of undo each other. So we're just going to subtract 9 from both sides. And what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So that causes this to go away and become 0, and that leaves us with v equals 42. And that's our answer. All right, let's do another problem, guys. So our next problem is going to be 16 times, let's do m for Monica, equals 32. Alright, so same deal. We want to isolate or get m by itself on one side of the equation. And so what we're going to do is we're going to divide off 16 because 16 right now is multiplying. So like addition and subtraction, multiplication and division kind of undo each other. So let's divide by 16 and that'll make m be by itself. But what you do to one side, you gotta do to the other. So there goes the 16, so those go to 1, and m equals, what's left is 2. Alright, and just in case you're confused, 16 divided by 16 is 1. It's one of the properties of algebra. So, new problem. The next problem's a little challenging. It combines what we just did in both the previous problems. We have 5x minus 10, and that is going to equal 80. Okay, so our ultimate goal is to solve for x, which means x has to be on one side and all the numbers got to be on the other side. So how are we going to start with that? Well, let's start by getting rid of the 10. So right now the 10 is being subtracted. So what undoes subtraction? Addition. So let's add 10 to both sides. And this goes to 0. And it leaves us with 5x on this side. And 80 plus 10 is 90. Alright, one step left, and that is to get rid of that 5. So right now the 5 is multiplying the x, and so the opposite of multiplication is division. So that is going to cause this to go to 1, so we're just left with 1x, which is the same as regular x. And so x is going to equal 18. Sweet. And for our last problem, this one's going to be a little more complicated, but you guys can do it, I have faith. So we're going to have 1/4 of a smiley face. And we're using smiley faces as our variables because we are happy Algebra 1 learners. Plus 24, it's going to equal 22. So don't let the smiley face alarm you. It's just a variable. If you're not comfortable with it, you can just put x in there or whatever you want to put in there. But the same idea holds true. We want to get the smiley face all by itself. So let's get rid of this 24. So how do we get rid of the 24? Well, right now it's being added, so let's subtract it, minus 24, What you do to one side, you gotta do to the other. So that's going to go to 0, and it's going to leave us with 1/4 times a smiley face. That's going to equal -2. So now we're almost done. We just got to get rid of that 1/4. And we can do that by either multiplying by 4 or dividing by 1/4. And here's what I mean by that. So basically, we know from previous math classes, 1/4 divided by 1/4, well, when you want to do that, you flip it and multiply. So multiply times 4 over 1, which we know leaves us with 1. So that's why we can actually divide by 1/4. And that's why it's the same thing as multiplying by 4. Okay, and that is just going to bring that to 1. And that's going to leave us with smiley face equals -8. A -2 divided by a positive 1/4 leaves us with a -8. Alright, I hope you guys learned a lot in this video. Feel free to leave comments or questions about other assignments or videos you'd like to see. And remember, brains are beautiful.